You know that feeling, right? You're in a room with a boss, maybe a big shot executive, or an investor, and you can just feel that intense pressure to say the perfect thing. Well, this explainer is all about how to turn that pressure into real presence and how to finally make your voice heard.
I mean, you've done the work, you have all the data, you bring what you're sure are brilliant points to the table, but it feels like you're speaking on mute. Your ideas just fizzle out. It is such a frustrating feeling, and trust me, it is way more common than you think.
So what is actually going on here? Well, it all comes down to what we're going to call the high-status problem. The moment we're face-to-face with someone in authority, our brains just go into overdrive with one single mission: impress them. Don't look stupid. Prove you belong here.
And how do we try to do that? What's our go-to move? We fall back on what feels safe. Data, facts, figures. We think, if we can just present enough information, if we can show them how much we know, then our value will be undeniable. We basically become a walking, talking report.
But see, this leads us straight into a trap. This instinct to just rattle off facts, while it comes from a good place, is the very reason we stay invisible. It's a strategy that just completely misunderstands what actually grabs people's attention and what really influences them.
Just look at the difference here. On the one hand, you've got fact reporting. It's just about transmitting data, it's passive, it's dry, and let's be honest, it's super easy to forget. But the alternative, creating experiences, that's about building a real connection. It's engaging, it's human, and it is so much more impactful. This is the big shift we have to make.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. When you're just a fact reporter, people might see you as a useful resource, kind of like a walking Wikipedia page. But a resource is something you use and then you put away. It doesn't have a presence. It doesn't change minds or spark action. It informs, sure, but it absolutely does not influence.
So, how do we escape this trap? Let's get to the good stuff. The solution. It's a really powerful technique called the invisible pull, and it's all about changing your goal from just reporting information to actually creating a connection.
The invisible pull works by literally drawing people in, making them want to listen to you. And not because of your job title or your status, but because you're being authentic. You're creating this genuine human connection that just cuts right through all that corporate noise.
This quote right here, it just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. Forget trying to be the smartest person in the room or the most prepared person in the room. Just aim to be the most authentic person in the room. That right there is where true influence actually comes from.
Now, I know this might sound a little abstract. Like, how do you just be authentic in a super high-stakes meeting? Well, the key is something that feels totally backward: vulnerability. It's the secret ingredient that creates your gravity. And here's how you actually do it. It's just 3 simple steps. First, you acknowledge the shared context. Then, second, you share a brief personal insight. So, for example, instead of just presenting sales numbers, you could say something like, "Look, I know we're all feeling the heat on this deadline. It kind of reminds me of a similar crunch we had on the X project. And one thing I learned there was..." And then third, you tie that insight directly to the group's goal. See? You're connecting your human experience to the actual work at hand.
When you do this, something really amazing happens. Your authenticity creates this gravitational field. It breaks through all the corporate formality and it just pulls people in. They'll lean forward, they'll stop checking their phones, they listen, because for a moment you've stopped being a resource and you've started being a person they can actually connect with.
All right, let's bring this all home. By shifting your mindset from just reporting facts to creating experiences for the people listening, you fundamentally change your impact. And the payoff? Well, it's transformative.
Seriously, this changes everything. You go from being overlooked to being influential. Your ideas actually stick with people. You build real rapport, and you turn what was a one-way presentation into a real collaborative conversation. You're not demanding attention with a list of facts anymore. You're commanding it with your presence.
And that leaves us with the most important question of all. The next time you walk into that high-pressure meeting, instead of just preparing your data, think about the human connection you want to make. Think about that small, authentic insight you can share. What's the first experience you are going to create?